Good evening, everyone. So welcome to our 2025 annual meeting and your last town hall for 2025. We're very grateful and pleased that you all joined us tonight in this dark and kind of rainy weather. So thank you for coming. I think you're going to hear some great stories tonight regarding the things we've done year to date for the club and certainly for your member experience. What I'd like to do now is just take you through a couple of things that down memory lane, if I can figure this out. So for those of you who can remember back to the first quarter, we started this year with, I always start off with goals and intentions. They were growth, innovation, and of course, outstanding member experience. Tonight, we're going to delve in a little deeper regarding the results year to date. You'll hear from Leslie Lucas on that. Will's going to take you through the innovation part on all the things that we have done this year to improve our, if you will, response to marketing with new data and the decisions we've made. We can make quicker pivots and things that have helped us build the club a little faster. And of course, outstanding member experience. And as I said earlier this year, I've committed to no operating assessment. And Leslie, there's no operating assessment. So you can count on that for the year. The board and the leadership team have worked very hard this year to evolve, if you will, from being very operations focused to having a longer term strategic focus. The board next year, you'll hear more about it from the new board next year regarding the focus on long-term planning and the kinds of things that we will do to enhance your member experience. And Mark will take you through many of the projects that we have done this year to get that going. What I want to do now is welcome our new board members. I am very honored and pleased to introduce Miss Christina Stansberry. She has been an active member on what was called the Long Range Planning Committee, the Strategic Planning Committee, and of course, she's made many personal contributions to the marketing communications team. So we look forward to many more next year. So thank you very much for serving in advance. I want to introduce Mr. Tim Cabral. He has served on the Green Committee, and most recently, he's serving on the Finance Committee. And because he's a super duper public corporation CFO and also private as well, he's got years of experience. So I know he's going to be able to enhance the operations and the financial savvy of our team here. So thank you, Tim. Welcome. We look forward to your contributions as well. Returning makes my heart really happy, and he knows very well. Returning board member, Mr. Andy Hamilton. He is not only a great golfer, but he also has great contributions down to the minute detail in our finance committee meetings that talks to some spreadsheets he did in his sleep the night before to show us some other great result that we could have. So Andy, you're the best. Thank you very much. And we look forward to your service next year. For those of you who may not know, this was called a deemed election. Our nominating committee, who is chaired by Mr. Dave Reeves, the past president, and the committee, by the way, that has worked very hard to not only identify the candidates, but also to filter more candidates for the future. So if any of you are interested in serving on the board, please get a hold of Will, Mark, Leslie, Mr. Reeves, or certainly myself. We'd be happy to talk to you about what that service means. So thank you very much to Dave. He's not here today, but he's done a great job. Next, we want to introduce or thank our current board members who will be staying on the board. Miss Allie Baker. She served very well this year on the golf committee. I will skip a little bit and say that Mr. Malozzi Frank and Joe O'Leary, who chair the marketing, sales, and membership committee, can't be here tonight due to travel, but we thank them for their service as well. They did an outstanding job with enhancing that function. Doug Wickham, F&B chair, Adam Cipriano, strategic planning, and he co-chairs the finance committee. Has done a really great job. So you'll hear more about strategic planning in 2026. We have lots of things to share with you. And last but not least, Chris Cook. Chris Cook. He has served on the, at the time it was the Long Range Planning Committee, Strat Planning Committee, and of course he co-chaired the Finance Committee this year. You'll hear more from him next year as well. We look forward to serving you next year in 2026. There are a couple of us who are leaving the board. So Mr. Teddy T Mr. Teddy Tucciava. He has been great, and as you know, he's a great golfer, much like Mr. Hamilton. But he has served this year with Bryn Powell, where's my favorite Bryn, in making sure that we have enhanced the pickleball areas, the viewing areas, the pickleball courts. He's also really worked very hard to make sure we don't lose sight of the tennis villas and making sure that those facilities are in good shape for our tennis members. So Teddy, great job. Thank you very much for your service. And for moi, I am leaving at the end of. Um, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve for the last 6 years. I can't believe it's been 6 years. For those of some of you who have been with me for 6, it's like, oh my God, really? But it's been a pleasure. And the last 2, I have to say, were just fabulous. So thank you to the leadership team who's here today. And for the last couple of years, you guys have been great. You all will hear more about the leadership team in a few minutes from Will. But they have worked like crazy to make this club a fabulous club that you all enjoy day after day, week after week, year after year. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. So I do want to say one thing, Jane, you're going to help me recover my golf index, right? Yeah. It's going to go from 30x to maybe back to where it used to be. So I look forward to that. So, okay. So thank you very much. And I want to turn this over to Miss Leslie Lucas.
Oh, yeah. All right. I can hear that I'm mic'd. Perfect. So I'm here to share the financials with you and then also talk about our capital strategy. Mark will tell you more about our specific capital this year, but I'm going to review our strategy. So what has happened through Q3? We still have an operating surplus of 570,000, which is about 2% of budgeted revenues to date. Our FGMEs, our full golf membership equivalents, for those that would like that spelled out, is at 92. So this is short on, it's shy of budget of 1,009, and I'll talk a little bit more about membership in a future slide. We've spent 2.7 million of our capital to date. Our capital spending plan is about 3 million, and that's about 90%. So we've made great progress there, and our ending cash is at 3 million. Our operation surplus. Our gross profit is on plan. So I mentioned that we're behind in membership, so we do have a shortfall in revenue, but it's equally offset by higher revenue performance in rackets, golf, and swim. So that's nice. So we're at a net zero. The surplus is all coming from a savings and expenses. So about 350,000 is full savings. We had some temporary vacancies, primarily at the beginning of the year. And then the rest are what I'm going to just say are timing differences, just when we spent the money. So we'll probably be spending those in Q4. A special thanks to the management and the whole leadership team. This is a reflection of their strong financial management. And while still delivering, great membership experiences. So this really is a thank you to everyone, the team that's here. So we think this is a good place to be at the end of the year. I think we'll probably be closer to 1.5 net income from operating. But this is really a good goal. I mean, 1.5%. This is a good goal if it's financially prudent, and we still could have some unknown risks, in Q4. So we're happy. So as I was saying, we're still down from budget at 992. But what's on a positive note, we are up a net 2 from Q2. So we were at 990 in Q2. The similar message, it's primarily in golf, primarily in resignations. And on a positive note, we continue to be very strong in our sales of our sports complex. We're also down in total members compared to budget at 1,565. But again, on a positive note, that is a growth of 13 from the end of Q2. So we were at 1,552. So some good progress. I really think the new membership team and the new marketing firm are, we're seeing the impact in Q3, which is really positive. Just on a side note, a nice stat is we sold 26 new memberships, 6 in golf. due to the sales efforts and a nice promo. That is the summary of the operating results. Now I'm going to talk again about capital. As you know, capital is a key strategic initiative for us. I've mentioned this before, but our goal is to continue to build value in the club, which is when we bring in more capital income that's greater than depreciation expense. So what again is in capital income? It's our capital dues, it's initiation fees, it's any assessments or debt that we bring in. So another aspect of building this value or having the capital income exceed our depreciation is that also helps us to build reserves or build cash reserves for a later period. Not all of our capital needs come evenly throughout the year. Some larger ones like irrigation we need to plan for. So that's one of the key aspects of building this value. We did in a capital reserve study. In a future slide, I'll show you some examples of that. Not examples, I'm going to share the high-level results with you. We've mentioned before, and I'll re-show the slide, we have in the past not brought in capital income that exceeded our depreciation expense. And what that means is we've built up a lot of deferred maintenance. So you'll see that the capital study has approximately 30 million on it in the next 5 years, and a good chunk of that is deferred maintenance. Maintenance that we should have done earlier, but we now have to catch up on. Where management and the committees are working together to identify our aspirational projects, the capital reserve study just captures all of our obligatory capital, which is our replacements and repairs. Aspirational projects like the new fitness center, we need to flesh that out more, but that is one of the items that we're working on. So again, our strategy as a management team, the committees and the board, is to work on a long-term plan that's going to continue to drive up our capital income and help build reserves and also catch up on our deferred maintenance. You've all seen this slide, or some of you have seen this slide before. It's just Club Benchmarking does a nice description of obligatory capital versus aspirational capital. So again, repairing, replacing the assets we have versus adding new assets. This is the deficit that I was talking about, or the deferred maintenance. I have to step in the white line. So this is from 2024, but I think it's still pertinent today. We have been behind in our capital income, so therefore we have created a deficit. What this identifies compared to clubs of our size is we're approximately 21 million behind in our obligatory capital and another 39 million. It's 39 million if you include the aspirational capital. You'll see that in the slide with the capital reserve study, but even though this was done last year, it's still pretty pertinent. This is a slide that shows where capital income is compared to clubs of our size. At 33 million, we should have a capital income level of about 6 million. So this slide was prepared at the end of 24, and so you can see that we're at 2.4 million in 24. So the club did something about this. They took some actions. First, they increased the capital income primarily through capital dues, and the estimate is we'll end up at about 3.9 million. So we're slowly approaching the 6 million. Okay. The second thing they did is they said, not only are we going to increase the capital income, we're not going to spend every single penny of it. We're going to save a little for some reserves. And that is going to be we believe that will continue to be our plan, and it'll be our plan in 2026. Whereas you can see in my manual ads there we're starting to move up the curve, and we're at hopefully it'll be closer to 4.4 million. So that is part of, or this is the implementation of the strategy that I was talking about on the previous slide. Now I'm just going to share with you some high-level numbers. The capital reserve study. So this is Club Benchmarking's. They come and visit. They look at all the assets, and then they compare all the data they have from all of the clubs that they've looked at. And so often when they estimate, for instance, irrigation, they'll look through all of their files and come up with this number. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is this is about 33 million the next 5 years. Included in 2028 are two very large projects, irrigation, which they've estimated at 8 million, and then grass at 4 million. So I wanted to just take those out to show one thing, which is that the average of all those 5 years is we need to spend over $4 million, okay, just to meet that, and then tack on those two large projects. We believe we'll do those large projects for 5 and 3 million respectively. That's why that 33 million is probably closer to 30, but it's a large number. So that's the bottom line. And a good chunk of it is deferred maintenance. So I think I threw up the 2025 number, which is, or the capital income of 3.9. So we still don't have enough, right? So that is one of the reasons why we're looking to increase the capital income number. So that we can again continue to spend more and eat through the deferred maintenance, but also to add some reserves that will help defray some of the future costs of these large projects like irrigation and Bermuda. So we've identified right now about 20 million in aspirational. That top section does not include any of our aspirational projects. So we need to work more on that and fleshing out those numbers and rolling out the timing. But that is the sort of a summary of the results of what we've been doing in capital. Thank you.
All right, good evening and welcome to your annual meeting. For those of you here in person, thanks for battling the rain and coming in. You know, we always love when our members want to be informed and engage and participate in your club's success. And for those of you on Zoom, they literally painted me a box here that I'm supposed to stay in because I like to really explore the room and I get passionate in talking. So I'll do my best to stay in camera as we go through it tonight. You know, a lot of the time throughout these meetings, I get to come up and I talk about our successes, our accomplishments, and I'm the one privileged enough to talk about it. But it's really an incredible leadership team that I have the privilege of working with who really makes this all possible. So before I even start tonight, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge our leaders who put together an incredible 2025. They work so hard, they make such big sacrifices, and all you experience is really from them. So Leslie, Bryn, Sean really wanted to be here. He ended up having to be on the pool deck tonight. But Shelby, Dan, Kevin, Brian, Kylie, David, Joseph, Ricky, JC, Lee, and Ela. I speak on behalf of the board. I speak on Mark and me. Just thank you so much for all you do. You make me come up here and have great news to share, town hall after town hall, and this place wouldn't be the same without you. So a big thank you to all of you. Another thing we do a lot of these meetings is I come up and I talk about a lot of the tactical things we're doing to deliver the experience we want to provide for you. I talk about our marketing, I talk about our 4 core strategies, and because I've done that so much, and I think we communicate it in different ways, tonight I'm going to talk about some things I haven't talked about as much. We're going to get out of the weeds a little bit, go up to the 30,000 foot level, and talk about some stuff that's on my mind that I think might be interesting to you as well. So let's get started. This is an onion. An onion has 40,000 genes. This is a baby human. A baby human has 20,000 genes. So an onion has twice as many genes as a baby human. This is a baby horse. So when a baby horse is born, it comes pre-programmed with everything it's going to need to know for its whole life. It knows how to run, gallop, eat, drink, and do pretty much everything it's going to need to know. When a baby human is born, it knows nothing. It can't even barely walk, hold its head up. If you put a full bottle next to a baby, it'll literally starve to death if you don't put that baby in that bottle in its mouth. So how do we become the most dominant species on the planet? It's really due to something called epigenetics, which essentially means that our genes are capable of adapting and changing with our environment. So we take those 20,000 genes and we're able to constantly meet the demands of our environment. And that's really what we need to do as we look to the future, because our membership is changing a lot. So we have about 1,600 memberships here, and we turn over about 160 per year, which essentially means that we turn over almost 10% of our memberships every year. Now, in 1 year, maybe not a big deal. But if you even look at 6 years since COVID, we have 62% of our memberships have turned over, which is a much different club than we had even before COVID. The things that they're looking for are different. The categories of membership that they're enrolling in are different. And we want to make sure that we're serving that membership as much as we can. We're planning for the future. And then we're also taking care of that 50 or 60% that's been with us for many decades as well. And we expect that trend to continue. So in the early 2000s, we were mostly serving the baby boomers. Generation X came in kind of in the 2015 range. It peaked. And then if you see, there was a big boom for births that the millennial generation is going to peak around the year 2032. So we think the growth and the opportunity is really good for who we're going to be attracting. The average age of someone joining a country club is about 42 years old. So that's when that peaks, right around the year 2032. So we're really trying to be ready for the future to serve this millennial wave that's coming, while also making sure we haven't forgot about you Gen X, we haven't forgot about the baby boomers. We want to make sure you still have a club to grow and love as you go along as well. So how do we know what you want? Well, we've spent a lot of time trying to learn that through surveys, through member feedback, and recognizing the patterns that help inform us on where you want to take your club. So if you remember back to Q1, we launched a survey after dining. So for the first 6 months of the year, every time you went and dined up to once a month, you got a survey right after you ate that said, how was your meal? We want to learn what you're looking for, what we got right, and what we can do better. In Q2, we did the same thing with golf. And every time you had a tee time, right after you finished the next day, Brian and his team would send you a survey. How was our service? How was the course? What can we do better? What are you looking for? What's most important to you? In the third quarter of the year, we launched our new quarterly member survey, Club IQ, which is through our Distinguished Clubs program. It benchmarks against other clubs. It takes about 15 minutes to fill out, which some members don't want, sometimes the comments is it takes too long, but I promise it's incredibly valuable feedback. We read every comment, we look at every score, we share it with our team, and it helps inform us of where you want your club to go. And then we've done other things. We did a bocce survey, I think, that went out today. We're doing our comments and concerns to the website. So we are hungry, and we know your feedback is a gift, and we want as much of it as possible so we can always stay informed. What are you looking for? What does the next generation want? So we can deliver that experience that you want. Now, I know this is small, so I'll walk you through it. But this is our member survey. This is how we're benchmarked across other clubs. So what do we learn from this? Well, we learned a lot. If you can see in this column right here, even if you can't see the numbers, there's a lot of green. So we score almost better than every other club in most of our experiences we provide. And this is through the Distinguished Clubs program. So we're benchmarked across many of the best clubs. So up at the very top, the club overall is above the benchmark. Membership is above the benchmark. Our Lakeside Clubhouse, which was a big lagger in the last couple surveys before the refresh, is now above the benchmark for your satisfaction. Golf operations for both Lakeside and Falls above the benchmark. Golf course for both Lakeside and Falls is above the benchmark. We have our Lakeside front of the house. Our Lakeside kitchen is above the benchmark. And then racket sports, fitness, and aquatics pretty much blow the benchmarks out of the water. So amazing work to those leaders. And we really fall short in 3 areas. The Falls Clubhouse decor and furnishings, probably not a surprise to anybody. The Falls front of the house and back of the house, all 3 of those obviously go together under the Falls umbrella. And then the last one is our snack bars. So we want to give credit to the leaders and the departments who are delivering a better experience than many of the other clubs we're benchmarks against. And of course, we want to correct those areas that are not doing as well. But one of the things I actually take away from this, even more than anything, is the very top number, which is our Net Promoter Score. So our Net Promoter Score, as of the last 30 days, I clipped this yesterday morning, is at 36.7. So if anyone remembers, the last 2 Net Promoter Scores were at 33. So it's gone up a tiny bit. But one of the things that I think confuses me and just I don't quite have an answer for is we're clearly delivering a better experience in almost every area than your typical club, but our members are less likely to refer their club than members of other club. And as someone in my role who's responsible for obviously delivering the experience you want, but also planning for the future, I'm really motivated to get that number higher. Our membership depends on it. So if you're a happy member, but you're not willing to go out and get excited for your club, that's a problem. And that's something we really want to get to the bottom of and address. And it shows up actually in a few areas. So here's another way to look at it. This is our membership experience index, which is some things that this survey says, here are some of the most important things to drive that net promoter score. So over here, you can see membership service is up in the upper right quarter, that we're doing great. Membership governance, we're doing great. Membership programming, we're doing well. Membership communications, we're doing well. But membership perception needs improvement. That to me doesn't always add up. So the perception, the willingness to recommend are much lower than the experience and the things that you would think would make that up. So through the surveys, we're still going to try to get to the bottom of that. We get a lot of comments. We get extra context to figure out. But that's something that we really want to improve as we go forward. So here's some other things that we're getting from the survey. Some of them new, and then some of them repeats. On the new side, really the industry is going more casual. There's a lot of places, I go to a lot of different clubs, and I'll see a sports bar, bright sports bar with TVs on, people wearing hats and having a good time, right next to a dark dining room with candles and tablecloths. Guess which one is busy and guess which one is not very busy. And the industry's all sort of going that way. So that's just something for us to be aware of. We did make some small changes with dress code and things this year, but obviously we're going to keep that in mind to find out when is appropriate time for us to make certain changes with our membership. Quality. So one of the things that's important to note is casual does not mean lower quality. Members want a little bit more of a casual environment, but quality is more important than ever. They want to have high quality food, high quality experiences, and high quality amenities, and they want them consistently available to them. The industry and our club is moving more family. Gone are the days where, the husband comes and plays golf and the wife and the family all stay at home. So we're trying to develop the amenities and the programming for the whole family, and not just being family tolerant, but in some cases being family centric, where we welcome the families, we're happy to have them. And then more healthy. One of the things that Blackhawk was really proud of is our incredible fitness center that was built a little over 6 years ago. Yeah, and now when you go around the country, almost every club has a nice fitness center. So we don't quite stick out there. The demand for healthy food, healthy lifestyle, healthy options is coming up more and more. We see it on the comments for food and beverage. We see it on the fitness comments. We see it on everything that members want more of. Some of the reoccurring themes. Every survey I've ever put out, the members say, we want it more consistent. Wherever we go, we want consistent service. We want consistent dining. We want consistent golf course conditions, pool temperature, whatever it is. We want to know what we're getting ourselves into. They want it more friendly, which means we have to retain, we have to attract the best possible talent to come and serve our members, something we work hard at. We'll talk a little bit more about later. Better communication. This is something we've spent a lot of time on in the last couple years, and we still have room for improvement. We have members all the time who said, I didn't know about this, but don't send me any more emails. So we're always trying to figure out, okay, it's our job to figure out the right way to communicate with you through all the different channels, whether the digital monitors, the newsletter, the emails, social media. How can we reach you in a way that works for you is a constant evolving process. And then we always hear it, we want more stable costs. Costs, value, we want a great experience, but we don't want our dues to go up 10%. We don't want high operating assessments. We want to know exactly what it's going to cost and be able to count on that. So let's talk about costs a little bit. Balancing the experience with the cost is a delicate dance. We always try to find that right balance there. Now, I'd love to have a B-2 bomber fly over our Independence Day celebration or have Santa jump out of a helicopter, but the return on that $1 million probably isn't there. So we're always trying to figure out, well, what's the right way to inflate the experience, but still have a cost members can rely on? So does anyone have any idea what it costs to run Blackhawk Country Club per day? Any guesses? Chris had a really good guess. Chris guessed $100,000. It's $101,000. So it costs us $101,000 per day to run Blackhawk Country Club. That's a high number. So before we say, let's inflate it to 105, let's inflate it to 110, we are very cautious and sensitive to make sure that we better get a really high ROI on that additional cost. So we're always trying to maintain that balance. So what is value? Ultimately what we want is value. And I think value is its experience minus the cost. So we want to have so much value built in there that the cost is not something you're focused on. And if we can have a $10,000 product and we can sell it for $1,700 a month, we're probably going to do pretty good. And the more value we can add through the programming, through the relationships, through how you feel, that's, I think, obviously going to build more value, and it's going to help that net promoter score that we talked about. We've talked a lot about experience in a lot of these meetings. We haven't talked a lot about cost. So let's talk about that a little bit. Because cost has been a big challenge for us, especially since COVID. So what you have here up on the screen is you have our cost changes since 2020. So we sometimes hear, and we know we had 1 year of 9–10%, and then you hear inflation's 3%. Well, inflation for us here at Black Guy Country Club is not 3%. Some of our biggest costs you can see are up double, if not triple digits. Our insurance is up 121% in the last 6 years. And it's a tight market, and we have one person one group right now who's willing to insure us. It's a really tight market. Water up 48%, huge expense. Obviously, utilities up 59%. Payroll's up 74% since COVID. So these are some of the costs that we're dealing with. And obviously, we're working really hard to not pass on these big costs to our members. So I know sometimes you'll see stories about a 3% dues increase, a 4% dues increase. Just know to get there, we've had to deal with some of these, and we've had to try to find a lot of efficiencies to make sure we keep those costs in an area that you're okay with. We hear a lot about food and beverage costs. Sometimes Chef Joseph and our servers here that I can go down to downtown Danville and get a cheaper meal than I can get here at Black Guy Country Club. We do not believe that's the case. We have all their menus. We look at it regularly. And the point of putting this up there is to show you that we do look at it. These are real numbers. You can fact check them on the menus. But if you take something like the New York Strip, let's look at that one. So our Snake River Farms New York Strip at the Overlook, we sell for $60 with sides. Forbes Mill, $68, $72 at Fleming's, and then $58 at Piatti's is not prime, but not all of those even come with sides. We do that for, obviously, comparable appetizers, chicken dishes. Almost all of us are using Mary's Organic Chicken on that list. You can see the price differences. The salmon, much different. And then even some of the more comparable brands of beverages or some of the appetizers, we're always looking. Our goal is to have you want to dine with us over anyone else, not only because we're cheaper, but because you have a better experience. The server knows your name, they know your order, and when you come here, you feel like family, and you get that hospitality that you wouldn't get at a restaurant. Oh, and by the way, we also want it to be make sense financially for you to come here. So we make a decision to subsidize our food and beverage. So here's a chart of food and beverage subsidy in the industry, and Blackhawk is that blue line on the chart. So food and beverage subsidy is a decision where you take the overall dues and you use it to offset the food and beverage expenses. So the whole industry is subsidizing food and beverage 4 times more than they were in 2010 and twice as much as they were in 2020. So more subsidy in food and beverage is often associated with higher member experience and a healthier financial model. You can see in the 2010s, we were really treating food and beverage like a profit center, making money each year on food and beverage. I know some of that was driven by banquets, but the industry would tell you that's actually not a financially healthy model. And the most successful clubs and the ones with the highest satisfaction do have a lot of value in their food and beverage by subsidizing with dues. So that does a couple things. Number one, it spreads those costs amongst all members, not just the ones who dine the most. So all the members foot the bill for some of the food and beverage pricing, and it also makes your covers and different things go up because people want to dine with you. Now, I do take requests for these meetings, and Mr. Belletti gave me a request to look at covers. So here we have our covers, which is essentially a diner, 2024 compared to 2025. So here we have 2024. We had 108,000 covers that year through September of 2025. So we're up 8,279 diners through the first 10 months of the year, which is about, if you're doing the math, that's about 8%. It's about 45 more diners per day. So we think our members are getting the value. I will say part of Lakeside Clubhouse was closed last year. So that could factor in it a little bit, even though we always have venues open. But overall, we think, hey, our subsidy is giving our members good value. Our covers, our diners are up, so members are engaged, they're coming. Remember, we do have less members this year than we had last year. And we're always trying to look at the pricing to make sure it's competitive and you're getting great value. Food and beverage is one big expense. Guess what another big expense is? Payroll. So the job market has gotten really weird since COVID. Here's a few of the things that we're dealing with. We're currently serving 4 different generations of workers. They are much different in how we communicate with them and how we serve them, how we retain them, how we train them, and what really they're looking for. 70% of Gen Z and millennials nationwide report they're looking to leave their job in the next 2 years. So we were really lucky. We just got to celebrate Thomas Dempster, for those of you who know him. He celebrated 40 years as an employee of Black Hawk Country Club. I don't think he's here. We've embarrassed him enough as we recognize his anniversary. But the new generation does not have the same natural loyalty nationwide as some of the previous generations. And we have to sometimes work 2 to 3 to 4 times harder to keep them here with us. Wageflation. This is a nationwide number, but our volume positions, our cooks, our housekeepers, some of our entry-level positions across the country, their pay has doubled in the last 4 years. And I hear it from all over clubs. They used to be able to hire a dishwasher, a cook, something like this for $15 an hour, and now it's $30. And if you don't pay them $30, guess what the club down the street's going to do? And obviously, being a private club, building relationships and getting to know you all requires people to be around a while. So we really work hard to retain our staff. Work-life balance is valued more than ever with the new workers. I used to work with a chef who said, you're not a chef in the country club world until your 3rd marriage. Well, those days are behind us. People are not willing, and they shouldn't have to have 2 to 3 to 4 divorces in this industry. They like work-life balance. They want to be able to attend their kids' games. They want to be able to come in, work hard, build something, contribute to a cause that shares their values, but also not have it take over their life. And then we've talked about this before. The hospitality industry's turnover is 75%. So we're always working against that battle. It's a tough industry. We work weekends, we work nights, we work holidays to deliver this experience to our members. And that takes a toll when some people get offered remote jobs 9 to 5 and being able to work from home. So we're doing a lot. So here's some of the stuff that we're doing to try to invest in our staff and keep them. We want to make sure we're developing them, their careers, developing them as people, having this be a safe, fulfilling place to come and work. And whether they're here a short time or a long time, we want this to be one of the best jobs they've ever had. One of the things we did in 2023 and then in 2024 is we did an annual employee survey where we said, what's most important to you? What are you looking for? And then we developed action plans. And a lot of this stuff came from the action plans. Here's how we want to be communicated against. We want more transparency. We want better training. We want more opportunities to play golf. We did our first ever succession planning management interest day, which I'll talk a little bit about, new break room, and different things. So we're trying to say, we're listening to you. We want to find out what's best, and then we want to give it to you so you'll stay with us. So I talked about compensation a little bit. So some of you might be thinking, is that how we're keeping people? We're just paying them a lot more than anywhere else? And the answer is no. I think we're paying fairly. We're paying right in the median. So the average total payroll as a percent of operating revenue in our comparable clubs, which is large clubs, is 57% of total revenue. 2025, we were exactly 57%. We think it's going to go up a smidge for 2026, but probably stay right around the same number. So we're not underpaying, we're not overpaying. I think we're paying fairly, but we also have to work a lot harder to hit that number. So I asked Kevin, I said, Kevin, how long does it take for someone to drive from number 5 green to number 15 green on a riding mower? And he said about 12 minutes. And he estimates about an hour and a half per day of lost work time as his team is driving all over this enormous campus, going from green to fairway. Hopefully they didn't forget a rake or something and have to drive back to clock out, drive back for new resources. This is something almost no other club has to deal with. So we have an efficiency challenge here. And even given that, we're able to still keep our payroll in line and keep our retention. I mentioned hospitality turnover is about 75%. Our turnover is less than 10%. So we're doing a good job, I think, engaging our staff, retaining them, and keeping them. Food and beverage, big expense, payroll, big expense. Obviously, our footprint is a big expense. And I have 2 slides to talk about our footprint that I think you'd find interesting. And the first one is this net to gross PPE, which is plant, property, and equipment. What this is basically telling us is how much of your facility and how much of your assets are depreciated. And this slide suggests, or this slide tells us it was 61% are fully depreciated. Now it's 60% are fully depreciated. So we have 40% of our assets still have life. No, that's not enough, which means when you go to wash your hands in a sink, the chance of that faucet being fully depreciated is probably pretty high. Whether you're using a shower, an irrigation system, whatever it is. Benchmarking recommends we want closer to that ratio flipped, where 40% are depreciated, 60% still have life. And all the stuff Leslie was talking about investing into our footprint, fixing that deferred maintenance, is going to hopefully catch us up on that number. Because if we don't do it, it's easy to slide back down and have more. So another really key metric that goes along with that, and this is what Club Benchmarking calls the most important financial metric, talks about your net worth over time. Is your net worth growing or is it shrinking? So for most of the data for Blackhawk Country Club, our net worth has been shrinking. And I'm proud to come up here today and say our net worth now grew by 1%. So yes, that sounds like a good thing, right? However, if you were to save 1% of cash, would your cash be growing or shrinking? It would be shrinking, right? Because inflation's probably at least 3%. So that cash, that 1%, is not even enough to keep up with inflation. So at the bare minimum, if we don't want our net worth to go backwards, we have to be growing that by at least 3.3%. Of course, that just means we don't go backwards. The goal is to grow our net worth so you all, as members of an equity club and owners, have an appreciating asset, and your footprints and the value of your club is appreciating. So a lot of the work we're doing to invest in the footprint, get our reserves, and plan for the future is going to be delivering a better long-term outlook for you as members and also for the club. So we talked about costs, just because we haven't talked about costs a lot, and I think it's important to paint that picture and show you what we're doing. But we really don't try to deliver your experience by just controlling costs. We still want to play offense and deliver a great experience. And we still have, what we think when we look at the industry, we still believe we have the 2 best golf courses, incredible conditions, the best tee time availability. We have an award-winning fitness center with great programming, great personal trainers, over 50 group exercise classes a week that no one else has. We have, without question, the best aquatics facility, the best swim team. We deliver the best experience there. Best pickleball programming, which we invest a lot in. The best pickleball facilities. We have 4 different retail outlets. I don't know of any other club that has 4 retail outlets. We have 5 different snack bars that are open and cafes. I'm not aware of any other club that's got 5 different snack bars and cafes you can go to and get something to eat. Well, obviously, we have multiple dining outlets. If you want to go on a Friday night, you're not going to get a wait list. You're not going to have a 30-minute wait. You've got multiple options, and we always try to find a way to squeeze you in whatever location you're here for. We have a separate banquet space. This is something a lot of clubs don't have. When they have big banquets, they just do them in their member space. And we're really privileged to have a separate room where we can be having meetings, we can be having events, and all the normal dining goes on without anyone noticing. We have an award-winning practice facility, top 50 within the private clubs, which we're really proud of. And these are more subjective, but from what I've seen, I truly believe we have the best programming of any club we've ever seen. And I really believe we have the friendliest staff as well. And of course, we don't share it probably enough, but we are a distinguished club. We went through the distinguished club process. We got a distinguished club with exceptional status this year, which comes and verifies the member experience. They sat down, interviewed our entire leadership team, went over every Club IQ comment and score from our member survey. They went over the whole property, and they really make sure that they qualify us in the top 4%, and then we're award winner for one of America's healthiest clubs. So we're doing our best to control our expenses, deliver a ton of value to you, but also make sure that you're always getting world-class amenities, world-class programming, and world-class staff for your experience. So part of it is delivering that, and then another part that we've worked really hard on, both internally, externally, is communicating that value. So we've done a lot in our Friday Forum. If you guys look at our Friday Forum, sometimes it's unbelievable how much we have going on in the club. And I think we're doing a better job capturing that content, sharing the stories so members can be reminded of all the value and all the stuff they have going on at their club. Not many clubs do a monthly newsletter still. We do a monthly newsletter. It's usually 30 to 40 pages. We put a lot of thought and effort into adding value there, and we're really lucky to work with such great association chairs who help us and do the same. We have a new section on our website which has all of our flyers for all of our upcoming programming, so you can plan way ahead for what you're looking for to make sure that you don't take vacations at the wrong time and you always have what you're looking for. This is something else we're really excited about. We now have a new galleries section, so you can go to this area and find all the pictures from all of our events. Look for yourself, look for your family, save them all for you. Take all your own photos home and share them with your friends and family. And then we've done a lot of work on social media. We've been experimenting with, what do our members like to see? What do they want to see more of? What engages them? What sort of things are they wanting to interact with us? And really recently, we've kind of had more fun on there. We've done some different fun videos, and our members have been loving it. So our engagement's way up there. We're actually targeting, some of our posts are targeting 60% non-members. So a lot of our non-members are interacting with us and seeing all the fun that's happening here. And then this is something Kylie is really proud of. She's been working on this for a year and a half. We're the only country club in the East Bay with a blue verified check mark, which there's a lot of criteria you have to work through to be able to hit that. So now when people see us and you look around, you look at Diablo, you look at some of these other clubs, none of them have blue check marks. So we're pretty excited about that. That's just a fun one. But so we want to tell our story. We want to tell our story to non-members. We want to tell our story to members. But we love it even more when our members tell our story. And this is something we've started to see more and more. When our members go out and they share what we call magic moments with their communities on their platforms. So, we get Facebook posts that just recognize our staff, recognize the incredible experiences they have. We get Yelp reviews. We get social media posts just for little things saying, gosh, my club's so special. Look what they do for me. I'm so proud to be a member here. And then this is the Yelp scores from 4 clubs in our area where we have the top score. We also have the most reviews. So I think members are going out. They're talking about the experience we have. They're talking about how proud they are to be members. And we just need more of that. We need more members sharing their good experiences, what the survey says you're having. And then you go out, you tell all your friends and family, you have to join my club. It's the best place. It's going to improve your quality of life, and you're never going to regret it. One other thing that I think this is fun, this is something that just came up new with our storytelling and branding, is about a year ago, we hired a new food and beverage director. When we were looking for that position, this is the job rec. There's 17 applications in it. 0 candidates from within the private club industry. 0. So Mark was hiring for that job and worked really hard to try to find the right person for us. We've been posting on LinkedIn. We've been talking about how we're investing in our staff. We've been talking about how we're recognizing our staff, doing videos of us having fun, coming together, and building an incredible culture here. And this is the posting for our current food and beverage director. 140 applications and 10 plus from within the industry. Clubs right around here, up and down the 680, wanting to come over here and work at Blackhawk Country Club. So the word's getting out, and we want to continue to get that word out. Wrapping up here, so I went to a training within the Club Management Association of America, and they had this slide up. This was just 2 weeks ago. And I copied this slide because it talks about how to be a member-centric organization. And when I was going through it, I was thinking, hey, we're doing a lot of these things. It talks about anticipating members' needs, focusing on communication and transparency. Obviously, one of the things we're doing for that are these town hall meetings. Trying to motivate your employees to stay engaged. Adapting to member demands. We talked about adapting and always changing. Continuously listening to our members. We do a lot of surveys. We're hungry for your feedback. and then consistently following up with the feedback. So every time someone fills out our survey and they have a question or they have a comment that needs clarification, we always respond. We always try to get more information to make sure we're understanding it. So we are trying to be a member-centric organization, and everything we do is under the umbrella of delivering a better experience to all of you. So a couple of my favorite moments from the year. Feels like a long time ago, but we just want to start with Maryland won the President of the Year through Club Benchmarking Magazine. So just really want to say congratulations, Maryland. The last 2 years working with you has really, really been an honor. I know you can't thank yourself when you're up there, but I know I speak on behalf of me, Mark, and our leadership team and the rest of the board when we see how hard you work, how much you sacrifice, and we just wanted to say thank you for all you did so far this year. The President of the Year is an incredible accomplishment. That's nationwide. So an incredible honor. Yeah, well earned. One of my favorite months, once again, it feels like a long time ago, but our employee party, which many of you in this room participated in, is something our staff still talks about. They're already looking forward to 2026. That's the picture up in the top. Those are not employees, just like that. Those are our incredible members who dedicated their time, their resources, their gifts to recognizing our staff. And a huge thank you to all of you who made that happen. Up right here, we did our first ever leadership retreat. So our leadership team got away for a couple days, talked about ourselves, talked about how we can work better as a team, how we can understand each other better, and then talked about solving some of the bigger problems within the club, ultimately on delivering a great experience for all of you. We did our lifestyle video shoot. So I know it's hard to remember, but if you think back to our website and some of our collateral, 18 months ago, there was no pictures of any members, any staff, any people. It was just a few pictures of facilities. So we invested in our photo shoot, which was able to tell the story of our members having fun and everything they're doing. And then this year we did a video shoot. And we have every section of the website, whether it's golf, aquatics, racket sports, fitness, Brody's Nest, social, they all have their own videos that really tell the story of what's going on at Blackhawk Country Club. Getting our capital reserve study done, a huge plus. We're almost close to having a 10-year forecast of what our dues need to be, what our capital plan needs to be, what they expect inflation to be, what they expect payroll to be, and we are not guessing. What should we be doing? We really have a full compass there. Getting some of the right leaders on the bus, I think has been a huge plus in my year. Really excited to have Leslie, to have Dan, to have Lee all sitting in the front row. So I appreciate you all being here and being on our team. And then something I really enjoyed was our employee roundtables. We sat down with 100 employees this year for an hour and talked about how we can be a better employer for them, how we can support them better, what they would look for to recommend this as a place to work to other people. And just sitting down with people I don't normally get to spend that much time with for a full hour over a year has been really, really rewarding. So those are some of my favorite moments. This isn't a comprehensive list, but some other things we've accomplished this year. We restructured our finance and our membership departments. Those look much different than they did at the start of the year. We continued our secret shopper program. So both our dining and our membership have secret shoppers that come in within the industry and really grade us. How was your service? How was your food quality? How was the parking lot? How was the bathrooms? Was there toilet paper? Were the sinks clean? All the different hundreds and hundreds of criteria so we can continue learning. I mentioned we awarded Exceptional Distinguished Club. We executed our employee satisfaction plan. We're still working on Falls 11. We're on our second phase of exploration there. Introducing the new menus, expanded our Bermuda trial from a couple plots to a full hole on 13. We cleaned up some of our accounting with the Hawks and their admin fees. Leslie mentioned we hired a new marketing agency, something we've been talking about for several years. We hired Bubble and Hatch, who's come on, and they've handled all the external marketing for us. We achieved our positive net worth growth, our video shoot. We did our first Independence Day without fireworks, which was a challenge. A curveball we were thrown, but we found something, and we've got some cool ideas for 2026 as well. This is something we're proud of. I mentioned that we only have one insurance carrier who is willing to insure us. And through our first year, we had 0 claims with them. So that's a good sign that they're going to want to keep insuring us for future years and maybe not raise it 121% on the next 5 years. We brought back weddings for the first time since COVID. We launched our Bells board, which is our governance portal. So what happened before is through our committees, it was all just housed on the director's desktop. And if they left, we lost all the minutes and everything like that. So we now have a portal that makes that a little bit easier. We completed all of our capital projects on time and on budget. And as Leah mentioned, we have a little NIO surplus going into Q4, which is going to give us some cushion and also help us work away at that capital deficit. Part of these meetings is not just sharing all the great things, but some challenges in full transparency. Here's some things that we're looking at. We're on our 3rd year of membership decline as total members, which is something that we're aggressively trying to fix. And I think I'm optimistic in 2026 we'll be able to do that. But one of the things that keeps coming up over and over again, there's 2/3 of the homeowners who live inside Blackhawk are not members of the club. 2/3. And if there's anything we can do to penetrate a higher percentage of the homeowners who literally live on our property, we're really committed to doing that moving forward. Increasing costs are always going to be a challenge. We met with our benefit providers, and they told us that 90% of the raw materials for pharmaceuticals come from India and China, which have 50 to 100% tariffs right now. And they just basically told us, those costs are coming your way. Get prepared. And we hear those stories over and over again of raising costs. Water sustainability, not a new concern, but something we're always watching. Our Bermuda trial is obviously one way we're trying to get ahead of that. Economy and tariffs, we don't know what those are going to do, but those are always uncertainties. The tightening in the insurance market is not just a Blackhawk thing. We see that across all the clubs. The lawsuits that people are getting hit with are higher than ever, and insurance companies just want no part of it. The aging facilities and infrastructure is a challenge. And then, frankly, the last one we've talked about before, it's member etiquette. Member etiquette at Blackhawk, but also at all clubs, has become more and more of an issue since COVID. And not only is it an issue because it takes away from all of your experience who want to follow the rules, but it also takes a lot of our time that we could be spending doing other things when we have to chase down statements, go to standards meetings, and try to discipline the small percentage of our members who don't want to behave properly. So that's something we're really committed to, and you can expect some more communication pretty soon about how we're going to focus on that even more. So what comes next? We're going to do our ongoing member survey. It takes 15 minutes about. I know that's a lot of time, but I promise you it's worth it. We appreciate your feedback. We love your feedback. And it helps us know what you're looking for, what's most important to you, and how we can serve you better. We're going to do our annual employee survey that launches November 15th. We're going to be able to compare our scores year over year and see how our action plan did. We're going to create our new action plans and priorities based on those plans. We have a goal to update our strategic plan by the end of the year. So as you all know, we've shared our strategic plan many times. It lives on the website. You're always welcome to go look at it. And it really hasn't been updated for, I think, about 5 years or so. So we think some important updates are due for that. We're going to obviously create our business plans. We're going to work closely with that capital reserve study. So we got it done, and now we want to make sure it's a tool to help direct us for the future. And then, as is custom, we'll send you a fun email probably around December with our plan for 2026, our budgets, and all that's coming. So it wouldn't be a town hall without a quick trip down memory lane with some of the programming and the videos that we've had so far this year. So enjoy the video. Thank you for being here. Thanks for a great 2025. And after the video, your general manager, Mark Vallone, will take over. So enjoy.
Thank you. that was pretty cool. I mean, if you're not having fun at this club, you're not paying attention to what's going on. So thanks to everyone. Again, thanks Marilyn for a great couple of years. Leslie and Will, that was a great presentation. I've got about 35 more minutes, so just stay seated for a minute. No, we'll get going because I know this was supposed to end at 7, but tying everything together, right? Leslie talked about capital, what we've done this year and what we're going to be doing in the future. Will talked about some of the pinch points. And what I'm here to talk about is what we were able to finish this year. This is a slide that we showed at the beginning of the year. This was the list of the items that our directors in each department shared with all of us and you as members, what we were going to do and accomplish this year. I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Again, the lifestyle, fitness, golf shop, IT, food and beverage. I showed a little bit on the agronomy on the first page, tennis, racket sports, really, sports complex. All of this was our list of to-dos. So let's go through what we were able to accomplish in 2025. And we're going to start with agronomy, and Kevin and his team did a great job. They finished everything on their punch list, got it all done on time, on budget for us. We talk about T-leveling, cart path repair, bridge repair, most importantly, Lakeside 13, Bermuda grass conversion, and dredging of Lake, is that 2 or 11? Oh, it is 2. Sorry, Kevin. Totally kidding. I saw it there today. So again, we are continuing to get through all of this. Some photos we've showed before in the past, but again, our Bermuda Hole 13 trial, which I have not had the pleasure of playing, working too much, but I hear it's going great. So congratulations to Kevin and all of you for this really cool experiment for you guys. Some before and afters of the cart path improvements and bridge improvements that we've done in 2025. Aquatic, Sean had a big punch list of small things, but it needed to get done. Everything from the insulation covers, replacing all backwash valves. These are things we might not all pay attention to, but they are so important to us. The chemical shed had a bad exhaust fan, which caused leaks going on in there, eating away at cement and the building itself. We purchased a heat exchanger. Sean has learned through his experience that we didn't need it at the time, but we purchased one because the lead times are out. And thank God we did, because the thing went out this year and we were able to turn that in one day versus waiting 3 to 6 weeks of no heating in the pool. IT racks, pool deck mastics, very important for safety and for the pool. That is the rubber coating sealant between all the cement pads are usually 8x8. That is very important for kids hitting their feet on it, but also cracking and lasting a long time. So that was completed this year. The wading pool cement pad was eaten away by chemicals in the back room of Sean's pump house. Replaced the old diving board, which was, again, a safety issue, and the shower tiles, which just got completed. So just some quick photos. This is this is a masterpiece, his pump room. This thing is unbelievable if you've never been in there. He runs that thing every day. It pushes 1 million gallons a minute or some kind of number. With the cement pad, you can see this up here. That got eaten away by all the chemicals. Diving board. I know Doug's ready to go off of that anytime here soon. The mastic on the left, that kind of just shows you that piece I was talking about. And then the showers. That was the before picture after demo. Our team building this up together, we had a group, this is the same GC group that worked with us for our Lakeside refresh. And then a completed shower and actually changing room that was done in wood, which all got wood rot because it wasn't tiled up. That is now complete. Facilities and building. We talked about doing all the asphalt repair and sealing all of the parking lots, all completed this year. We talked about the ballroom interior. This was started on January 1st, I think finished on January 7th. LED lights in the parking lot to brighten things up, not only at Lakeside for safety of our members, but also up at the tennis villas was completed. Falls grease trap, we all love that one. We did not budget for that or prepare for that one, but we knocked that thing out and so much more, right? We showed this picture before, the new improved parking lot. A couple more. Racket sports. So Bryn and her team, Bryn is now our project manager on site. She's released the racket sports director and doing great. But just talk about the villas. We resurfaced court 7. We slip sheeted and replaced court 10. Replaced the awnings at the front door and on court 1. New drinking fountains that we're going through. Fencing and light posts were all repainted this year. And that was very recent. It looks great when you're up at the villas. New LED lights, which we just talked about, and painting of the poles in the parking lot, and then a windscreen replacements on court 9 and 10. That's just half of her job this year. Let's go to the sports complex. She slip sheeted and replaced courts 2 and 3, replaced the fencing on courts 2 and 3, windscreens on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the canopies on courts 2, 3, and 4, 5. Pickleball pergolas was completed, and the viewing areas, which I think that came out amazing, and the pickleball team loves it. Yeah. Court 1 conversion, again, what we talked about, we are the #1 pickleball club in all of Northern California with 10 pickleball courts now and ready to do our pickleball tournaments coming up soon, and then new pickleball nets at this location. So just a couple pictures of what it all turned out to be, and that viewing area is spectacular. We have events there, the grass area, we do our cornhole tournaments on there. It's a fun zone for the kids on Friday nights. It's just a nice multi-purpose area. The construction that we all went through for about a month and a half, but we waited and it was well worth the wait. And then that view right there of our pickleball stadium is just amazing. We talked about the new water features. And last but not least, we're going to fitness. Shelby and her team replaced some equipment in there and did a whole new floor plan. We listened to our members' feedback. Some of them didn't like it at first. Shelby pivoted, made some changes. With all that being said, it has been welcomed by our members and everything is going well there. A couple pictures I didn't get, but Brian, we have our new awards wall now. When you make your walkway from the bistro up to the overlook, you'll notice now we have our major tournaments on the right-hand side, and that's a new thing that Brian put on his capital. So with that, I know we've taken a lot of your time tonight. We really appreciate you all being here. We hope you enjoyed the show, because it really was. Will did a great job on showing what this club has done this last year. With that, we'll get to Q&A, but again, I want to thank Marilyn for all of her work and support for this club and this board. She worked very hard, and I thank you all for being here again. So have a great night. Thanks for coming.